January 13th, 2006. 300 Argentine police officers surround Banco Rio. Inside, 23 hostages lie face down on marble floors while masked gunmen wave pistols at their heads. One wrong move, and this becomes a massacre. The gang leader demands pizza. The negotiator thinks he's insane, but he's not. Because while every cop in Buenos Aires watches the front door, a second crew is already below their feet, inside the vault, stuffing $19 million into duffel bags. The hostage crisis above? Pure theater. The guns? Toys. The real heist is happening underground, and it's been running for 2 hours. In 7 minutes, these thieves will disappear from a completely surrounded bank. They'll leave behind hostages, humiliated police, and a note that reads, "Without weapons or grudges, it's just money, not love." The entire country will call them heroes. But one of them is about to lose everything, betrayed by the person who should have protected him most. How did 6 men outsmart an entire nation? And how does the perfect crime end? December 2003. Fernando Araujo lights his 4th joint of the day in his Buenos Aires apartment. The struggling artist stares at newspaper clippings of the Ramallo bank siege, the 1999 disaster where police stormed a bank, killing 2 hostages on live television. Araujo sees something else in those images, an opportunity. He sketches on a napkin. What if robbers could disappear from inside a surrounded bank? Not through shootouts or surrender, through magic. He calls Sebastian Garcia Bolster, his high school friend who fixes motorcycles in a garage outside Buenos Aires. Bolster's hands, scarred from years of welding, build anything. His family lost 80,000 pesos when banks collapsed in 2001. Their life savings evaporated overnight. When Araujo proposes robbing Banco Rio, Bolster doesn't laugh. He asks how. Araujo spreads blueprints across Bolster's workbench. Banco Rio in Acasuso sits above storm drains that connect to the Rio de la Plata, and the vault extends into the basement. During business hours, motion sensors deactivate so employees can access safe deposit boxes. The idea is simple. 2 teams strike simultaneously. One stages a hostage situation upstairs, pure theater to mesmerize police, while another enters through tunnels below to empty the vault. No violence and no casualties, just misdirection on an unprecedented scale. Bolster traces the sewer lines with his finger. The tunnel would need to run 150 meters through active drainage pipes, break through 2 feet of reinforced concrete, and all without detection. Impossible for most, but not for an engineer who spent his life building the impossible. They choose Acasuso for a reason. After Argentina's banking collapse seized middle-class savings accounts, wealthy clients stopped trusting banks with their money. Instead, they stuffed safe deposit boxes with untraceable assets, cash, gold, and diamonds. Box rentals in Acasuso cost triple the city average because clients here store fortunes. Unlike serial-numbered bills from teller drawers, valuables from private boxes can't be tracked once stolen. The perfect score for men seeking revenge against the banks that destroyed their country. Araujo drafts the operation like a screenplay, complete with dialogue and stage directions. The ground team becomes actors. The heist becomes the movie. Every phone call, every demand, every pizza order serves a purpose, buying time for the vault team below. He calculates they need exactly 2 hours and 7 minutes to crack enough boxes. The hostage drama must last precisely that long. 1 second too short and the vault team gets caught. 1 second too long and the police might check the basement. The margin for error is 0. By January 2004, they're ready to recruit the team. But who joins a suicide mission against 300 cops? And which member of this crew will ultimately destroy them all from within? January 2004. Ruben Beto de la Torre sits in a Buenos Aires pool hall, chalking his cue when Araujo approaches. Beto robbed 17 banks with the Super Banda gang throughout the 1980s. He knows vault layouts, police response times, and hostage psychology. He also knows Araujo's father from the neighborhood. When Araujo mentions the Banco Rio plan, Beto doesn't flinch. He asks 3 questions. How much? How many guns? And how many men? $20 million minimum with 0 real weapons and 6 men. Beto agrees on one condition. He brings his own partner. Luis Mario Vitet, nicknamed the Uruguayan, enters the conspiracy through Beto. Former military, trained in combat tactics, Vitet specializes in intimidation without violence. He once held 43 hostages for 6 hours using only psychological pressure. Never fired a shot. His presence alone makes people comply. Vitet studies Araujo's script, noting each tactical weakness. The fake guns need weight to look real. The hostages must believe the threat without experiencing harm. Every actor needs a specific dialogue to maintain the character. Vitet rewrites sections with military precision. Through underground contacts, they recruit Alberto Doc Solis, another Superbanda veteran who spent 8 years in prison perfecting the art of patient planning. Doc insists on surveillance. For 3 months, he photographs every angle of Banco Rio. Employee shift changes at 8:47 a.m. Armored truck arrivals at 2:15 p.m. The manager takes smoke breaks at 10:30 a.m. behind the building. Doc creates a minute-by-minute timeline of the bank's rhythms. He discovers the golden window, Friday afternoons between 12:30 and 3:30 p.m., when wealthy clients visit their boxes before weekend trips and vault security relaxes. Julian Zalo Echeverria joins as the getaway driver, the only member who won't enter the bank. A former racing mechanic, he modified engines for illegal street races until a crash ended his career. Zalo Echeverria scouts 17 escape routes from storm drain exits. He times police response from every precinct. 13 minutes from Acasuso Station and 18 minutes from San Isidro. He'll wait at a manhole cover 3 blocks away, engine running, ready to extract the tunnel team. One delay, one wrong turn, and everyone gets caught. Bolster, now nicknamed the Engineer, begins his reconnaissance underground. He enters storm drains at 2 a.m. wearing a wetsuit and headlamp. The tunnels reek of sewage and methane. Rats scatter from his light. He measures distances with laser precision. The main drainage pipe runs directly beneath Banco Rio's vault, separated by 24 inches of reinforced concrete. He'll need specialized equipment, a pneumatic hammer that operates silently underwater, industrial-grade water pumps, and reinforced lumber to prevent collapse. The shopping list totals 50,000 pesos, around $5,000. They'll fund it by robbing a smaller bank first, which they do successfully in late 2004. By December 2005, the crew is complete. 6 men united by different motivations: revenge, money, adrenaline, but bound by Araujo's singular vision. They rehearse in an abandoned warehouse, running through every scenario. What if police storm early? What if a hostage has a heart attack? What if the tunnel floods? They drill responses until reaction becomes instinct. Araujo makes them memorize their lines like Shakespearean actors. This isn't just a heist. It's a performance that will play on every television in Argentina. But can Bolster actually break through 2 feet of concrete without triggering alarms? And which team member will betray every single one of them? September 2005. Bolster descends into Buenos Aires' storm drains, carrying a waterproof bag of power tools. The tunnel stretches ahead, a concrete artery pumping sewage toward the Rio de la Plata. He's mapped this route 47 times. Tonight, he begins cutting. The pneumatic hammer bites into concrete beneath Banco Rio. Each strike sends vibrations through pipes that could alert anyone above. He works in 10-second bursts, listening for footsteps, alarms, anything. 4 hours later, he's penetrated 6 inches. At this rate, breaking through will take 15 nights. October brings complications. Heavy rains flood the tunnels, forcing Bolster to install pumps that run on car batteries. He builds wooden supports to prevent cave-ins, hauling lumber through sewage in complete darkness. One night, methane levels spike so high his detector screams warnings. He retreats and returns with an oxygen tank. Another night, he encounters a homeless man living in the tunnels who runs at the sight of Bolster's headlamp. The next morning, Bolster scans newspapers for reports of suspicious activity. Nothing, so he continues. Above ground, the crew conducts surveillance with scientific precision. Vitet poses as a customer, opening a checking account to study the interior layout. He memorizes camera angles, 13 total, with blind spots near the basement stairs. Doc photographs employees, learning their names, their habits, and their weaknesses. Manager Diego Manzoni arrives earliest, leaves late, and carries the vault keys on a chain. Guard Carlos Perez, 58 years old, 2 years from retirement, never draws his weapon during monthly drills. They build psychological profiles of every person who will be inside on January 13th. Araujo scripts dialogue with obsessive detail. Walter, played by Vitet, will demand pizza at exactly 2:47 p.m., confusing negotiators who expect requests for helicopters or millions in cash. The absurdity serves a purpose. Pizza delivery requires approval from multiple commanders, buying precious minutes. Beto will release one hostage every 20 minutes, maintaining police hope for peaceful resolution. Doc will fire blanks at the ceiling at calculated intervals, just enough to prevent police from storming, but not enough to trigger assault. Every word and every gesture, choreographed to control police psychology. December 20th, 2005. Bolster breaks through the final inch of concrete. His headlamp illuminates the vault floor above, smooth tiles he's seen only in blueprints. He's created a hole just wide enough for a man to squeeze through. He photographs the opening, seals it with quick dry cement that he can break in seconds on the day. The tunnel is ready. 5 days before Christmas, the crew meets for final rehearsal. They run the entire operation in real time. 2 hours, 7 minutes from entry to escape. Zalacheveria practices the extraction route until he can drive it blindfolded. January 11th, 2006, 48 hours before execution. Araujo distributes replica weapons, plastic Berettas weighted with lead to feel authentic. He hands out masks, gloves, and the coveralls Bolster's team will wear underground. They synchronize watches. The weather forecast for January 13th is clear skies and a temperature of 87 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough that police will avoid heavy armor. Perfect conditions for the performance of their lives. Doc asks what happens if someone gets killed, no matter if it's a hostage, a cop, or one of them. Araujo's answer is immediate. We abandon everything and run. This only works if no one dies. But how long can 6 men control 24 hostages without real bullets? And what happens when one of their own wives discovers their secret? January 13th, 2006, 12:28 p.m. Bolster enters the storm drain wearing coveralls and carrying an underwater sledgehammer. Behind him, Beto and Doc wade through knee-deep sewage. They reach the sealed entrance beneath Banco Rio. Bolster strikes once. The cement plug crumbles. They're inside the vault. Above them, 23 customers and employees conduct normal Friday business, unaware that 3 men just materialized below their feet. 3 minutes later, at 12:31 p.m., Vitet, Araujo, and Doc walk through Banco Rio's front door, dressed as businessmen. Vitet approaches the information desk, asks about opening an account. The moment security guard Carlos Perez turns away, Vitet pulls his replica pistol. "Nobody move. This is a robbery." His voice carries military authority that makes everyone freeze. Araujo locks the front door. Doc herds customers against the wall. They work with surgical precision, no wasted motion, and no hesitation. Within 90 seconds, they control the entire bank. By 12:45 p.m., police receive the first emergency call. By 12:52 p.m., 40 patrol cars surround Banco Rio. By 1:15 p.m., 300 officers establish a perimeter. Helicopters circling in the air and snipers position on rooftops. Inside, Vitet, now Walter, begins his performance. He calls the police, sounds reasonable, almost apologetic. "We don't want anyone to get hurt. We just need time to think." He releases bank teller Marcela Fernandez to show good faith. She emerges crying, tells police the robbers seem nervous but not violent. Negotiators interpret this as weakness, but they're wrong. 1:30 p.m. In the vault below, Bolster's pneumatic ram destroys safe deposit boxes in seconds. Box 73 explodes in a shower of euros. Box 91 contains gold coins dated 1892. Box 156 holds bearer bonds worth $2 million. They work systematically: left wall, back wall, and right wall. Some boxes contain family photos, love letters, deceased relatives' ashes. These they leave untouched. Others burst with cash so dense it seems fake. One box holds nothing but cut emeralds that scatter across the floor like green stars. They stuff everything into waterproof duffel bags. At 2:47 p.m., Walter makes his pizza demand. The negotiator actually laughs. "You want pizza? Now?" Walter insists. 30 boxes, assorted toppings, enough for hostages and robbers. The request travels up the chain of command. The commissioner laughs, and the chief laughs. Everyone laughs at these amateurs demanding food during a siege. They approve the order. At 3:05 p.m., delivery drivers approach under police escort. The smell of oregano and cheese fills the bank. Hostages eat nervously. One woman later describes it as the most surreal meal of my life. Police psychologists interpret the feast as a positive sign. The robbers are humanizing their captives. 3:27 p.m. Bolster's team has cracked 143 boxes. The duffel bags bulge with approximately $19 million in mixed currencies, gold and jewels. Bolster checks his watch. Time to go. He tapes their message to the wall. In a neighborhood of rich people, without weapons or grudges, it's just money, not love. They lower themselves back through the hole into the drainage tunnel. Above, Vitet tells the final lie. "We're coming out. 5 minutes." He hangs up. 3:32 p.m. The tunnel team loads bags onto an inflatable raft, paddling through sewage in total darkness. 3 blocks away, Zalocheveria waits at manhole cover 47B. One by one, they emerge, soaked, stinking, victorious. They pile into his van. At 3:33 p.m., while police still surround Banco Rio, the real robbers are already gone. The van disappears into traffic. Inside the bank, Vitet leads hostages to the basement conference room. "Stay here. Don't move for 10 minutes. He locks them inside, places toy guns by the door, and the upstairs crew vanishes down the hole. How long before police realize the bank is empty, and which robber's marriage is about to explode, taking everyone down with it? 7:45 p.m., 4 hours later. SWAT teams storm Banco Rio. Flash grenades explode. Officers sweep rooms shouting, "Clear!" They find 23 hostages locked in the basement conference room, traumatized but unharmed. They find toy guns arranged in a neat row. They find pizza boxes, some still warm. They find no robbers. Commander Miguel Celeo radios headquarters. The subjects have vanished. There is silence on all channels. Then someone asks, "What do you mean by vanished?" 8:15 p.m. Detectives enter the vault. Safe deposit boxes hang open like mouths screaming. The floor glitters with scattered pearls and torn velvet. A detective kicks aside gold certificate papers worthless without their bearer bonds. Then he sees the hole, a perfect circle leading into darkness. He aims his flashlight down. The beam disappears into storm drains that stretch for miles beneath Buenos Aires. The note on the wall mocks them. Without weapons or grudges, it's just money, not love. One detective whispers what everyone's thinking. They played us. Within hours, the story dominates every screen in Argentina. News anchors struggle between outrage and amazement. Banco Rio robbers disappear like ghosts. The heist of the century. Police fooled by pizza and toy guns. Talk show hosts debate whether to condemn or applaud. Callers flood radio stations. Most support the thieves. They robbed the rich without killing anyone, says one caller. They're heroes. After banks stole billions during the 2001 collapse, many Argentines view this as poetic justice. International media descends on Buenos Aires. BBC calls it brilliantly audacious. CNN interviews hostages who describe their captors as polite, even entertaining. Maria Cristina, the manager dragged to the window, reveals Walter apologized while using her as a prop. He said, "I'm sorry, senora, but the police need to see this." The toy guns become instant symbols. Photographs show forensics teams bagging children's pistols as evidence. One newspaper runs the headline, "They robbed us with toys." Police launch Argentina's largest manhunt. Forensic teams vacuum every inch of Banco Rio. They find bleach poured everywhere, destroying DNA evidence. They find hair clumps that trace to various beauty salons, false clues planted to waste time. The abandoned van contains nothing. The tunnel offers no fingerprints. Detectives interview 300 witnesses, analyze 10,000 hours of footage, and chase 1,400 leads. Every trail ends nowhere. The robbers seem to have genuinely vanished. By February 2006, the investigation stalls. There are no suspects, no arrests, and no progress. The Interior Minister promises results soon. The Justice Minister demands immediate action, but the public laughs at both. Graffiti appears across Buenos Aires. Banco Rio 6, Police 0. T-shirts with toy guns sell out. A cumbia song about the heist tops local charts. The robbers have become folk legends. But in a modest house in Buenos Aires province, Alicia Di Tullio watches her husband Beto count stacks of $100 bills. She knows where that money came from, and she's about to make a decision that will destroy everything. What drives a wife to betray the father of her child? And how much of the $19 million will police actually recover? February 15, 2006. Alicia Di Tullio finds $73,000 hidden inside her bedroom wall. Her husband Beto tore open the plaster while she was visiting her mother, stuffed cash behind insulation, and sealed it with fresh drywall. She only discovered it because paint doesn't match. This is the third time she's found money. First under floorboards, then inside the water heater, now the walls. Her house has become a vault. She knows about the Banco Rio heist, everyone does. She knows Beto was involved. What she doesn't know is that he's planning to leave her. Beto tells friends he's moving to Paraguay with his girlfriend, a 23-year-old named Claudia he met at a nightclub. Alicia discovers the affair through text messages. She confronts him, but he denies everything, then admits everything, then promises to end it. 3 days later, she follows him to Claudia's apartment. When she pounds on the door screaming, neighbors call police. Officers arrive to find Alicia Di Tullio crying in the hallway, shouting about stolen money in Bank Rio. They take notes and one detective recognizes the significance. 5 days later, Alicia walks into federal police headquarters. She provides names: her husband Beto, his friend Vitet, and someone called Doc. She describes planning meetings in her kitchen while she served coffee. She overheard tunnel discussions, gun rehearsals, and pizza strategies. She knows they used toy weapons because Beto laughed about it for hours afterward. She doesn't know about Araujo or Bolster. Beto kept her partially ignorant for her own protection. But she knows enough. Detectives promise protection for her and her 7-year-old son. In exchange, she gives them everything. March 7, 2006. Pre-dawn raids strike simultaneously across Buenos Aires. Police smash through Beto's door at 4:47 a.m. They find him sleeping beside $970,000 in cash. He doesn't resist. At 4:48 a.m., they arrest Vitet at his mother's house. At 4:51 a.m., Doc surrenders peacefully at his apartment. Within hours, subsequent raids capture Araujo, Bolster, and Zalo Echeverria. The only evidence is Alicia's testimony and the money in Beto's house. The rest of the $19 million remains hidden. 1 week later, news breaks. Banco Rio gang captured. The public reacts with disappointment. Polls show 68% of Argentines wanted them to remain free. Lawyers volunteer to defend them pro bono. Crowds gather outside the courthouse chanting support. Even hostages express sympathy. Several refuse to testify, saying they were treated well. The prosecutor faces an unusual problem: jury sympathy. These aren't violent criminals who terrorized innocents. They're artists who embarrassed authority. The trial becomes theater itself. Araujo, ever the performer, treats court like a stage. He explains the heist as a work of art against financial oppression. Bolster describes the tunnel engineering with professor-like precision, making jurors laugh. Vitet maintains military bearing, never breaking character. They don't deny guilt, they deny shame. When asked about the missing millions, Araujo smiles. What money? We took toy guns to a bank. The prosecutor cannot prove how much was stolen. Safe deposit boxes aren't registered, so their contents are unknown. Box owners claiming losses can't document what they lost without admitting tax evasion. Sentences range from 9 to 15 years. By 2020, all are free. Araujo writes a book, sells movie rights, and gives university lectures on creative resistance. He claims everyone won. Police got fame, prosecutors got promotions, and we got rich. Argentina got entertainment. The missing 17 million never surfaces. Some believe it's buried. Others think it was spent. A few suspect the robbers invested it, living off interest while serving time. The greatest magic trick in criminal history succeeded completely. They robbed a bank using pizza and toys, vanished in plain sight, and became folk heroes despite capture. They proved perception beats reality, that controlling the narrative matters more than controlling weapons. They turned crime into art, humiliation into admiration, capture into victory. Except for Beto. His wife got revenge, his girlfriend got scared, and his friends got suspicious. He lost everything: money, family, respect from his crew. The man who helped pull off the perfect heist was destroyed by the oldest weakness: betrayal born from broken promises. The money couldn't save his marriage or buy loyalty. In the end, Alicia Di Tullio accomplished what 300 police couldn't. She made the magicians disappear.